Okay, fellas, I'm back. Uh, Started having a problem with the M1, and one of the problems is with these old guns is that you've got old springs. And I got a feeling that the springs in this gun are getting to the point where they need to be changed. So what I did is I put an order in, got a spring kit for it. It's going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble it. However, I need to break it down. So anyway, I wanted to show you a few attributes about this gun. Let me take the sling off. There we go. All right. Take the trigger group out. All right. Now I got it to that point. Trigger group's out. Now, for those of you that are faint of heart, okay, you may not want to watch this because let me count down here. Okay, 10 clicks. All right. Take a little block of wood here, prop her up. Get myself a cushion. Alright. Alright. That ain't gonna work. Well, maybe this will. Set it up here like this. Okay. Alright. Now, this receiver, okay, let me get things in focus here. Okay, the receiver is in there so tight because of the glass bedding that you really have to work at getting it out. Let me go ahead and close the action. Alright, start her down here like this. Alright, good and stable. What I gotta do is okay, now you see that? I've gotta literally pound that out. That's a, okay, a little bit more. That's how much she's in there. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a couple more taps. Alright. There we go. Alright. You want to be really careful when you do that, because even though glass bedding is some strong stuff, you can chip it, you can damage it when you do that. So you have to be very careful. You have to be super careful when you do that. And you don't want to remove the action from the stock. You don't want to make a habit of tearing it all apart all the time. And as you can see inside of there, that's the glass bedding. She's all bedding. All the way through this area here, all the way down in there, all the way across the tops where it contacts the bottom of the receiver. Also, she's bedded down here in relationship to the trigger group, also the very back of the trigger group, even though this isn't really important. What it is that this makes sure that this stays in the same place every time you have the same lockup when you go ahead and shut the trigger group. But I wanted to show you that now that I have it apart, okay? No big deal. So anyway, we're going to put this aside. Alright. One of the things that goes wrong with the Garand is that you got a little spring right there, okay? That little spring works in conjunction, okay? When you load when you push the E-block down in there, there's a keeper inside there that keeps the it keeps the rounds down in there. Now, if that spring has loosened up over time, what happens is that, or gotten weak, what happens is when you fire the round, this jolts and then it ejects the rounds that you have inside your rifle, and that's not good. You don't want to take that gun to a match. You'd be shooting a lot of alibis. There was also a little thing here that I wanted to show you as well. When you take your spring guide off, okay, you disengage that. That spring comes out like so, all right? And then you take your op rod, you find your little engagement area there, and you take your op rod out. And this is always kind of a pain, right there. Okay. Now, the op rod, let's take this guide out. One thing really nice, minimum amount of tools is what you need in order to take the M1 apart. It's actually pretty simple. Alright, so now we're going to take our op rod out. Now, one thing I wanted to show you about the end of the op rod. Now you see how dirty and nasty that is? That's because all that carbon from the gas tube has carboned it up. And one of the things you want to do before you put the gun back together, when you take it apart like this, you want to wipe that off. You want to wipe that clean. Yeah, I got a feeling this recoil spring needs to be done as well. So we'll go ahead and we'll look at that as well. Whoever did this national match mod to this gun actually did a very good job in what he did. The thing was, it was shot so much that it ended up shooting out the barrel. And so when I bought it, I ended up getting a gun that had a barrel that was shot out. So anyway, let's move forward here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take myself a rag here. Alright. And I'm going to spray some WD-40 on it. Okay. I'm going to wipe that off. You just go ahead and you just kind of clean her off there. Look at all that, huh? All that nasty black stuff. A few things you want to avoid, when you got a national match gun. You don't want to be taking it apart all the time. That will ruin the accuracy in it. You know, she has to be tight. She has to be really tight. The tighter it is, the better. But like I said, you know, it takes all that carbon and stuff off. And what you do is you get some gun grease. This is Rig gun grease. And what you do is you coat this area right here with grease when you put it back together. And then that way the carbon sticks to the grease instead of sticking to the actual op rod. Now, there are some guys that run a greenie on that, you know, like a Scotch-Brite, a real mild Scotch-Brite, and they scrub all that off. There's no need for that. That's not necessary. It really isn't. I mean, you don't need to get it that clean. And like I said, just wiping it out, making sure that you get all the grease and everything, that's fine. Well, I wanted to show you guys the national match enhancements that you know, as far as bedding and that sort of thing. Also another thing too, as you can see right here, the Ford handguard has been attached with screws. Okay, that holds that in place so where it won't touch the barrel. Also another thing too, when you got a national match gun, you have to peen the splines, these splines right here, I don't know if you can see them or not, there's a spline right there. You have to peen these splines a little bit, and then when you put the gas tube on, you have to kind of tap it on there. And when you tap it on there, it becomes one piece with the barrel and it won't shake, okay? And that's really important. You need to do that and never take it off. If you have to clean it, just take the gas plug out and then just go ahead and clean it. No big deal. So that's something you need to do as well. But yeah, take the bolt out. So there she is. She's all broke down. She's ready to go. There's a pin, okay? There's a pin that runs through here, okay, that holds this in, and all I got to do is just take that pin out, just push it out. I've got some tools for that, and then this will come out. This lever will come out, and there'll be a spring behind there. I got to replace that spring. That's what's going wrong with it. Hopefully that fixes everything. And it should, because, you know, I had another gun that was doing the same thing, and that's what I ended up having to do to that, and then it fixed it, and never had another problem with it. So anyway, wanted to show you that, and that's about it. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this. It's something that I discovered when I was out on the range the other day. You don't want your gun to have malfunctions when you're trying to fire groups, okay, in autoloaders, okay? When you have an autoloader and it loads the round, your head should be down on the stock, you should be focusing on front sight, and you should be squeezing the trigger. Now, if you have a malfunction, that means you might have to stand up and screw with the gun and mess around with it and cycle the action and do all this other stuff, and then you're going to sit down and you're going to try to get in that exact same position again when you fire. Okay? And sometimes that's not always possible. So guess what happens to your group downrange? You get a nice little group here, and then you get another little group over there, and it's because you change positions. It's not because the gun is not accurate. It is because you've changed your position, the way it recoils, the way that it's coming back on the rest, on the bags, and stuff like that. So don't hang yourself out to dry. Okay, if that happens, if you have a malfunction, you sit back down and you've cleared the malfunction, you continue shooting, and then your gun is shooting in a different area. Don't blame the gun. It's you. You're the one who went and changed position. You changed something there, and that's why your point of impact had changed. So anyway, I'm going to get this loaded. Enough of the yapping, enough of the BS, and we'll see you in the next video. I'll get this all fixed, and then we'll go out to the range again. You guys are probably wondering, okay, you fired the nozzlers, and now we're waiting for the spears, or we're waiting for the CRS to be fired. Well, I want to fix this first. All right, see you in the next video.